Okay, YouTubers, this is the Angryprepper. So today's video is going to be a dial it back video and an apology video all in one. So I have to say, being that, like I said in my last video, I hate being on a conspiracy theory train for too long. It finally it caught up to me, rather, right? Or being on the train too long caught up to me. So I have to talk about the cattle dying and the food processing plant fires. I do have to apologize because though I do believe our food is under attack, both of those two incidences or cases, if you will, or events are not what they seem. Meaning, we're going to start with the cattle. 10,000 cattle dying, right, is not a lot. Now, we knew that the numbers of cattle that passed away a week ago, 10,000 is a drop in a bucket. We have way more cattle than that in the United States. So 10,000 passing away is like, nah, it's not a big deal. We have 94 million cattle in the country. We have about 890,000 cattle processed a day. That's over 324 million cattle processed a year. Now, being that the whole heat excuse was kind of iffy, there was a cattle rancher / bison rancher in the comment section that I had the honor of talking to. I think his name is AJ. If I got it wrong, I'm sorry, man. I think his name is AJ. And he pointed out a couple of things on why this happened and how he could have caused it. And being that I'm not a cattle rancher, clearly, because I'm in a fucking city, it was a little eye-opening and it made more sense. And I also have no other information to go off of other than the guy who actually does the job. So I'm not going to doubt the cattle rancher. That's like doubting me fighting fires, right? So again, when he said what he said, and he some two lengthy comments there, it made sense. Now we're going to go over some of the points that he made really quickly, because I'm going to actually go over a lengthy version of this in the live stream, which was last night. So he says that there was low rain in the area. So there was low rain for weeks, which means that the vegetation was drier. A lot of cattle, not most cattle, they get a lot of their moisture, if you will, or they get hydrated through the vegetation they eat. So being that it was a drier area, these cattle were probably already dehydrated from the lack of hydration in the vegetation they were eating, if that makes sense. They also said that there was high humidity and high heat at night as well as the day, so that didn't give the cattle enough time to cool off, if you will, right? Nighttime is mostly when we all cool off, all humans. But if you keep this heat going for a week or two, day and night, it catches up with them. The other thing he pointed out is that these cows, this group, had a lot of fat on them because they were just coming out of winter. And because they were coming out of winter and they had this fat on them, heat was absolutely going to affect them. Now, we all know what that's like, and I hate to point this out, guys, but I'm going there. Fat people. We watch fat people sweat like a motherfucker during the summertime. Now, everybody sweats like a motherfucker, but fat people, they sweat Twinkies and fucking Twix in the summertime. And you know, and you see that because they're a lot heavier. They have a lot more insulation, if you will, and their body's having a tougher time getting rid of that heat. So again, that fat act as an insulation in the cattle, that also caught up with them as well. Also, that the feed that they were on is the feed that they use during the winter time to put that fat on. Being that they weren't able to switch over from, I guess, winter feed to summer feed, if that makes sense, because of the shortages they're having on feed, this is another reason why the cattle died. Now, interestingly enough, guys, and this is something I did know, cattle die all the time. Cattle dies in probably about the tens of thousands every month somewhere in the United States, but it's never posted online the way it is, and then the media picks it up and starts making bones about it. So before I get into that whole media picking it up, we're also going to talk about the food processing fires that we've also seen. Now, I know, again, guys, I looked at 98, I'm like, 98 food processing plant, this is bullshit. But unfortunately, I get into a debate with somebody and I start doing my own research and I'm like, fucking cockbag motherfucker. He was right. Back in 2019, we had 2,000 fires occur within the farmer, agricultural, food processing plant, and refrigerator stored food industry. So we had 2,000 fires back then. That was 2019. Now 2020, it dropped off dramatically because a lot of places were closed down because of COVID. All right. So with that, guys, if you do the math, that's about 5.5 fires a day. And that's just in that industry alone. We're not even talking about all the other fucking fires at chemical plants and things like that. We're just talking about the food industry. That's 2000. That was back in 2019. Now, we are in 2022. We are at 98. Now, 98 so far, that's 1.7 fires a day. Now, unless it picks up, we should be okay. If it picks up, then we're in trouble. But if it doesn't pick up, we should be okay. That's what I meant. Because right now, as it stands, that's 1.7 fires a day at 98. So if we are not moving at 5 fires a day, we're still good. Now, could it pick up over the summer? Absolutely. Could it pick up in the fall? Yes. And if it picks up, then that's something suspicious to look at. We should still be paying attention to these fires. But as of right now, these 98 fires are not creating any kind of a shortage right now. Though chicken, it is. Chicken's a different ball game. The farmers killing their chickens, that's presenting a problem because we are seeing chicken prices skyrocket. We are seeing egg prices skyrocket. As far as the chicken flu or the bird flu and all that bullshit, that's a different story altogether. But when we're looking at factories catching fire, that's what we're talking about. And as of right now, there's nothing to be really concerned about. Obviously, we should be paying attention. But again, guys, if we had more fires in 20, and yes, I get it, this is June. So we're not even at half the numbers that we would have been in 2019. 2019, this time this year, they were probably at 1,000 fires. We are at 98. So just keep that in mind. Now, why am I talking about this and why am I pulling back dialing it back? Well, because this is a distraction. This is another form of distraction that they're even aiming at us. They're looking at us and go, well, let's get these assholes distracted away from whatever the fuck they're distracting us from, which they didn't do a good job because we're still paying attention to what's going on. But nonetheless, why would the media pick this up? Why would Tucker Carlson pick this up? If, again, Tucker Carlson, who's a big media head, who has fucking researchers and fact finders behind him, report this kind of shit. Well, clearly then he's not doing a good job reporting it. Now, I got this off the NFPA, which is the National Firefighters, I forgot something association, right? And you can go on their website and you can find fires related to anything, buildings, schools, factory fires, you name it. They'll give you the breakdown of each of these fires. So fortunately, we're not in trouble with the food problem yet. If, guys, we were at 2,000 fires in June, then that's trouble. That's huge trouble. But 98 is not so bad. That still gives us wiggle room to prepare. Now, yes, we still have other shortages, guys, that are going to present a problem, but nonetheless, we are not there yet with the factory fire foods and the food processing plants, at least not yet. If this continues to go on and the numbers jump, then we have a problem. But I just wanted to make that clarification with this video and hopefully dial it back a little bit on the conspiracy theory train, including myself. Like I said, just wanted to get this video out there. But other than that, guys, this is the Angry Prepper. Thank you for watching.